Recently, I was lucky enough to go away on vacation with the family. We headed up to the Sunshine Coast, in particular the Glasshouse Mountains, for Rebecca's friend's wedding. Spending some time away with the family was great. It was absolutely beautiful, but of course, along the way, I have to do game hunting. I was planning on doing a full vlog of the journey and the game hunting and everything like that, but the cookie didn't crumble like that, as I just wanted to spend time with the family. We haven't really been away since Link was born, but I do have some things to show you. I do have some places we went to, so let's have a look at where we went, what we got, and there is an absolute banger at the end. Something I bet a lot of you didn't know existed, and it's something related to what's on my shirt. Pokemon. Our first stop along the way was a shopping center called Westfield Chermside. It was about a couple of hours into our journey and a good time for Wee Man to wake up. The reason I wanted to choose this spot is because, yes, they have a CEX. And they also had a Game Traders and an EB Games. And this is the first time I've been to this CEX, and boy, it did not disappoint. The games were probably the best quality as far as condition, but also great titles. Compared to what I've seen on the south side, there's no comparison. I will go back there any day of the week. We did get a few games from CEX. I tried not to go crazy. Reason being is I only want to use vouchers where I can for CEX. And secondly, I didn't want to use all my vouchers. But we did pick up some great games. I'm actually missing one. Where is it? I'll be back. In no particular order, the first one we have is The Last Remnant. Now, this is a game by Square Enix. Obviously, Square Enix is famous for many role-playing games, the most famous one being Final Fantasy. I know nothing about this game, but you can see from the art style, it looks very reminiscent of the art style of the era for a Final Fantasy game. Arena! Secondly, getting into the fighting genre, Blaze Blur. No, Blaze Blue. Blaze Blur, what am I thinking? This is the Continuum Shift variant. I love Blaze Blue, even though I mispronounced it. I do like my fighters. I'm more of a Tekken guy than a Street Fighter guy, and a Mortal Kombat guy first. But there's just something about the art style of this game, the frenetic gameplay, and just the character models themselves that just lend really well to the world, and I really do enjoy it. It doesn't get as much love as a lot of the main entries, but it's well worth your time. There are many games, and there are actually Blaze Blue on modern consoles as well. I love variants. Variants are like very interesting to me as far as they being different, but also sometimes they can be a lot cheaper. Now, I got Forza Motorsport 3 for $3. But wait, there's more! That was a really bad Scream impression.
But wait, there's more!
We also have Halo 3 ODST. So this is a double pack that actually came together that actually contains, I'm going to have to hold it up in a weird way so that doesn't fall out, both games. So we've got there. The only issue is, I've just noticed is, oops, and there is a loose disc in there, is no manuals. However, that is easy to rectify because these are nowhere by any means rare or even uncommon games. So I'll be able to fix that up. So that is just a really cool kind of, there's quite a few of these actual double packs. I've already picked one up you would have seen already that was Halo Reach and Fable 3. So it'd be pretty rad to get all these kind of weird double packs. I know there's one with Lego and Pure, I think is another one. Lego Indiana Jones, I think. And I think there's another one with Kung Fu Panda. Next, not a great game by any means. This is Alien Colonial Marines. Now, this game was a lot more actiony than what I liked when it came out. I remember playing Aliens vs Predator on the PC, where you would go through the evolution of the xenomorph and get your upgrades as the Predator. But there was just too much human combat going on, and human and androids and things like that from memory. It's been a long time since I played it, and what is it? I just don't really have fond memories of it. But for $8, maybe I will give it a try. And it was a little bit glossy, a little bit weird in my taste. One thing I truly love is psychological horror. I was a huge fan of what you could consider horror games on the Mega Drive, with Splatterhouse 2, The Haunting, Poltergeist, and Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Yes, they're very soft horror, but then came Resident Evil and Silent Hill, which basically branched out my love for survival horror, and to this day, it's still my favorite genre of all time. Two that I actually haven't played on the Xbox 360 that I really want to get into is Condemned and Condemned 2.
Running from the Bureau will do no good.
Someone else killed those policemen.
Shot with your weapon. You will be blamed for their deaths.
Maybe I have gone crazy.
Open up, it's the police.
There's one coming your way.
People are scared. We need to get this one.
I didn't kill those guys.
But must be good enough that they made a sequel. However, obviously, this is the end of it. This is all we have from Condemned. Very rarely will I pick up a Switch game from CEX. Reason being, it's very modern, and I see a lot of the prices going down before we start to see the spike when what is found to be rare becomes actually scarce. But this one I felt is another one of those niche ones, and I know the DS game was worth quite a lot before the Switch release. And that is The World Ends With You, the final remix version. There were two on the shelf for this. So it was The World Ends With You and the final remix version. So after we were done at CEX, we already picked up a few games. It would be remiss if I didn't go around the corner to EB Games. I never go really to the new games. What I love for EB Games is flicking through that pre-owned section and just finding those gems, because EB Games can underprice a lot of pre-owned games. And I found something that I have been looking for years. Quantum Break was an Xbox One exclusive. It was kind of divisive at the time of the release because it had episodic full episodes that were released that built on the story of the game, adding context. A lot of players found it jarring to be taken out of gameplay to watch a 20-minute to half an hour episode before getting back into the gameplay.
As you are, as a friend, as an old...
I feel that this is the foundation of what we saw in Alan Wake 2. In Alan Wake 2, they did a fantastic job of marrying up live action with gameplay that didn't take you out of the gameplay and created an immersive experience. I feel like this is the testing ground for that. And this steelbook is absolutely fantastic and really hard to find. I do have this really awesome Timeless Collector's Edition for the PC, which I think I got for like 20 bucks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Xbox version in this and then have that side by side. So very happy with this. And not only, I got it for half price, $4. That's a steal in my opinion. Before heading to our destination, we headed to an area called Laon, which is in Northside Brisbane. We checked a few op shops to see if we could find anything. There was one op shops that had consoles and Legos and cool things, but the prices just weren't right. But there was a really great pawnbrokers called Hippopotamus that was in Launton. They had a wide variety of, for a pawn shop anyway, of older games, some newer games. But what was most impressive was their Vita collection. I have never seen so many Vita collections in one place in the wild. It was insane. But unfortunately, couldn't really come to an agreement on prices on anything there, so we moved on. I'm going to fast forward now to the end of our trip. And don't worry, there is more to come. I've got a bunch of packages to go through, but also I've still got that Pokemon thing to show you, which is pretty rad. On the sunny coast, there is a pawnbrokers called Cash Converters that we hit up every time we're on the Sunshine Coast. I normally find things there, and I love going in there because they have so many games. I'm feeling a really big shift even in that store, whereby camping gear and other things are a lot more prevalent now, and the media sections are shrinking. And it's unfortunate to see, but they did have some things in the glass cabinet, including the Joel edition for The Last of Us for the PlayStation 3, a couple of Mega Drive games, and also some really, really cheap Xbox games, which is coming rare too. I picked up 3 games. Firstly, the complete edition of Grand Theft Auto 4 that contains the episodes of Liberty City, which has the Ballad of Gay Tony and the Lost and Damned, I think it was called. Lost and Damned, I've forgotten. But anyways, this is like a complete version, including all the expansions on disc, which is a big deal. I remember playing GTA 4 and having a fantastic time with it. It was a huge step up from what we had been playing on last generations, like Vice City and San Andreas, as far as the graphical fidelity and just the physics themselves. Is it my favorite GTA? Hell no. Vice City for days. But to pick it up for $1, I can't go wrong, and we don't have it in the collection yet. Back to horror. This is a Kinect horror game. That market for Kinect is very small. The market for horror even smaller, but yet they still thought it a good idea for Sega to put out a horror Kinect game. Rise of Nightmares was released in 2011 and was one of 2 games that Sega developed for the Xbox 360 Kinect. It also boasts being a Xbox Kinect exclusive and the only horror game developed for the platform. You play as a prisoner attempting to escape a dungeon filled with many horrors. The game was met with mixed reviews, with many people enjoying the visuals, but noting that the motion controls were clunky and felt unnatural. It has a Metacritic score of 54% from media. Although it sounds like this game has its problems, I'm excited to jump in and give it a go. This looks absolutely nuts, and I can't wait to play this after Link's gone to bed one night. It's probably going to be stupid fun. And lastly, circling back to another Rockstar game, we have Noire. Now, this is a special collector's edition. There's no steelbook or anything like that, but it does have like the cardboard sleeve with the cardboard open kind of, I've forgotten what they call this style. Well, we're going to call it folded game. And 4 discs, Jesus, that's a lot of discs, as well as a manual and just a manual, it looks like. So, but once again, a game that I haven't played, a game that is available and being remastered for modern consoles, but I'd rather play it in its original form. This we got for $3. So I was well and truly happy for that for $3. There's no way I could get this for $3 anywhere else, so I had to pick it up. The discs condition on all these were really, really good. This first one comes all the way from Japan. Now, I'm a little bit worried about this one. The reason being is this is one of those rare cases where the price was okay enough where I was willing to take a chance, but the seller had no photos of the actual item, which is, I don't think you can actually, you're not supposed to do that on eBay. It was a secondhand listing. God damn, this is hard to open. So we're going to see, and hopefully we're going to have a win here and not a fail, because I have not seen photos of the actual item that I bought from eBay. Looking pretty good so far. Yep, well and truly happy. This is in like new condition. We have the Catherine full body edition for the PlayStation Vita. I have the Catherine special edition for the Xbox 360, and I picked up the PlayStation 4 one when they did the re-release from PAX a few years ago. But I really do love the Vita. I love collecting for it, and I've got a very small collection coming together. So I think I got this for about $120, and just with what it comes with, I just really, really want to add it to the collection. And as you can see, it is in immaculate condition. I cannot fault this, and I'll definitely be trying my luck again with this seller based off the condition of this. Next up, you'll be seeing quite a bit of Mega Drive behind me. Mega Drive is probably the retro console that has my heart and will always have my heart. I will always try to add games to the collection if I can, if I find them for a good price. And it's probably the largest part of my collection. One of the things that I collect for out of my region is actually the Sega 32X. I'm in the PAL region, but our library of 32X games in the PAL region is fairly small and ridiculously overpriced. So instead, over the years, I've been collecting the NTSC version. I'm currently 6 away from a complete collection. Unfortunately, I had the most expensive game, Amazing Spider-Man, but to fund Rebecca's parental leave, I needed to sell that just so she could spend more time at home with our new son. One of these I didn't have, and one of these is an upgrade. All right, I'm gonna take these out one at a time. The first game is WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game. This is the copy I had before. You can see it's in a UPC case, and it is a printed slip cover. You can see a big difference in the quality between the two. Now this one is the genuine one. WWF WrestleMania was ported to many consoles concurrently, mere months after it was released in the arcades. It was released on the Super Nintendo, Genesis, Mega Drive, Saturn, PlayStation 1 and PC. WWF WrestleMania the Arcade was the last game to be released for the Sega 32X console, and is believed by many to be the best port of WrestleMania released on a cartridge platform, and pushed the 32X to the limits of its capabilities. Developed by Sculptured Software, who also developed many great games of the era, including Mortal Kombat, The Punisher and Techno Bowl, and published by Acclaim. And it also came with the cart and the manual, so which is great. Now means I have that one CIB, whereas all I had was, I did have the manual. Yeah, I did have the manual, but the manual is in not as good condition, and just the cartridge. So I can sell these to put that back in to the fund. So hopefully I can get more. If you have Knuckles Chaotix, Tempo, T-Max, Amazing Spider-Man, or Pitfall for a very good price, the Sega 32X NTSC version, feel free to hit me up. Maybe 1 year I will complete that collection. The other one I got, and rough. Okay, this is gonna need a little bit of work. We have Starship Bridge Simulator. No, sorry, the full name. Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, Starship Bridge Simulator. God damn. This is obviously CIB. Now, the reason I say it needs a little bit of work, I've got to obviously remove the tape. They've done the tape over the top and the bottom. Reason being is these folds are notorious for folding in. Slips in okay condition. Pretty happy with that. And we've got the cart, and we also have the manual, which is a black and white, and this looks like a legit copy as well. This is not an expensive game, so if you were going to fake a game, it probably wouldn't be this one, but that makes me one game closer to a full collection. If you stuck around this long, it's time for the goods. Let's have a look at the Pokemon item that I was referring to. And here it is. Surprisingly, this thing came up on my local Facebook marketplace. And you may have seen this. Retro Rick has one of these, which he actually got sent from Australia. This is only released in Australia. It is not a retail release, it is a promo item. So, where did it come from and what was its purpose? Pokemon fever was everywhere in Australia in the 90s. So much so that when Pokemon Gold and Silver launched, companies around Australia wanted to cash in on the pop culture phenomenon. One of those companies was Smith Chips.
It's even fresher and tastier.
By purchasing Smith Chip variety products, you could enter the competition to win prizes such as Game Boys, Pokemon Game Boy holsters, Pocket Pikachus, and more. To advertise for the event, Smith Chips and Nintendo gave participating retailers a display. This inflatable double-sided balloon. You can see here the dates, 1995 to 2000 Nintendo Creatures Game Freak. Really rad piece. You know, this obviously gets hung up, but the question is, will it inflate and will it hold air? Here goes. Let's hope this is the last attempt. Why does this feel like it's not working? I needed to call in the boss. And just like that, she is all blown up. 3 days later, that took a while. Not one of my smartest of moments, but man, now there's only one thing left to do, and that's wrap up. Some weeks or even months, you can go without adding many games to the collection, not as much as you would want. However, I have to remind myself that it's not about quantity, it's about quality. Not only did I add some games to contribute to the Xbox 360 challenge, but I also got to add an item I've wanted for years to my humble Vita collection. Get even closer to completing what I hope will be my first ever complete collection, the 32X, and add something truly nostalgic to the collection, and I will love staring at it every time I walk into this room. And you never know what deal's gonna come around the corner. Thanks for watching and happy gaming.